Beautiful cars and ugly cars. We dedicate a lot of time to the most efficient hybrids, best towing pickups, and the family-friendliest three-row SUVs, but we know there's more to the car buying experience and decision than just practicality. Sometimes you just want something pretty. I mean, that's why they put me on camera, right? In all seriousness, when we review cars, we don't take their looks into account because it has nothing to do with how they drive or how practical they are, but that doesn't mean we don't have opinions. So, just for fun, we took all the cars, trucks, and SUVs that are newly on sale or redesigned for this year, and we asked Edmunds staff to rate them on a scale from 1 to 5, 5 being aesthetic perfection and the other being a crime against your eyeballs. There were some pretty hot takes. Remember, we're only including new or redesigned cars. We'll cover our democratically elected 5 best and 5 worst looking cars, so if you don't see your favorite, we already think it's mid. Feel free to bring your pitchforks and tell us why we're wrong in the comments, but let's get into it. Toyotas with round headlights are back. Sort of. The folks behind the Tacoma and the 4Runner brought about the return of the Land Cruiser for 2024, and it's quite the looker. The Edmunds crew scored it an average of 3.7 out of 5. Toyota went with a classic 2-box design for the new LC. It's smaller than the last gen truck and more in line with the old FJ Cruiser we miss so much, but it still has a lot of presence. Pro tip, if you want the best looking version, go for the base Land Cruiser 1958 or the loaded first edition model if you want the retro headlights. The standard SUV has the modern square headlight look and it doesn't quite fit just right. What's better than a Land Cruiser? It's Lexus' cousin. We scored its looks a 3.71 out of 5, just barely edging out the Toyota. If you've been watching the channel, you know our Brian Wong ran a comparison between the two, and the GX came out on top.
There are 2 things that I really like about the GX's looks. The first one is that its boxy, upright styling really matches its rugged off-road capability. And the second thing that I like is that it doesn't look like Lexus' other SUVs because they're all ugly.
My boss says the Maserati Gran Turismo is boring. Guess what? He's wrong. And my coworkers are on my side on this one. They scored the Maserati's looks an average of 3.8 out of 5. It's got this beautiful long hood, a strong shoulder, and tons of presence on the road. It's a classically sculpted automobile, and I love it. AMG introduced a redesigned GT this year, and yeah, it's 1,000 pounds heavier, and yeah, it's all-wheel drive, and yeah, it has 4 seats, but have you seen it yet? Long hood, short deck, big wheels. It's hard to beat the proportions on this thing. Gordon Wagner is the design head at Mercedes, and he said this is as good as car design gets. He might be a little biased. Our staff rated it an average of 3.9 out of 5, so most of us agree with him. At least a couple of folks on staff are partial to the early first-gen car before they introduced the Panamericana grille, but still, it's hard not to swoon when you see the new car in person. And the Edmunds staff's favorite design of the year, and the only car to break the 4-point barrier on our survey, it's not a sport coupe, it's not a 2-box off-roader, it's a family 3-row SUV. The Kia EV9 is the first electric 3-row SUV from a mainstream automaker, and it's downright striking. And it can back those looks up. We love this thing so much we named it Edmunds' top-rated electric SUV for 2024, and the best of the best.
Well, I just think it's such a cohesive and cool design. It's not necessarily what I would call traditionally beautiful, but it's funky and it's fresh and it really looks distinctive in a sea of SUVs that look exactly the same.
You have to look at the details too. It's the specifics, the wheels, the pop-out door handles, the headlights. They just nailed this thing.
So I think what's really impressive in the mark of a good design is it works in so many different colors, be it a dull gray or really vibrant blue or green. Honestly, I think Kia's done a fantastic job.
One of the most important things is that it's distinctly Kia, so that you're not mistaking it for another brand. Now they have a good looking vehicle that looks like a Kia.
The reason I gave the Kia EV9 a 5 out of 5 is because it delivers exactly what you'd want from a very normal 3-row EV SUV, but makes it a little bit cleaner, a little bit more interesting due to a handful of tweaks here and there. But not everybody shares my opinion. Apparently, some people in the office don't love the way the EV9 looks.
Yeah, it's just giving Chevron car, you know, the cartoonish cars that talk in the commercials. I just think at any moment the hood's gonna pop open, it's gonna start yapping at me. I feel like they did try to make this one a little bit unique, and that's where the cartoonish look came in for me. It's the bubbly, the rounded edges on the front end of the car that just didn't hit the mark for me.
All right, playtime's over. It's time to throw some punches. These are our not-so-favorite designs. Chevy was a little late to the EV pickup party with its electric Silverado, and to be honest, we wish they'd spent a little more time in the design studio. The Edmunds staff rated this truck's looks just a 2.3 out of 5. Chevy took the cliff face proportions of their other trucks, deleted the grille, and added more curves and creases for a look that just doesn't know what it wants to be. And the C-pillar looks like an homage to the Avalanche. It's great that they brought back the Avalanche's folding midgate, but they could have left the looks in 2005. The F-150 Lightning just looks like a regular pickup with a unibrow, the Hummer is a proper reincarnation, and the Rivian is a genuinely handsome truck, but this thing? Nah, I don't think so. You may have noticed there wasn't a certain electric truck we haven't mentioned yet. Don't worry, we'll get there. We love driving the new 5 Series and i5. In fact, we named the i5 the Edmunds top-rated electric car for 2024. I think that really goes to show that we're not superficial people. We may have rated it highly on substance, but when asked to rate it on looks, our staff only gave it a 2.2 out of 5. There are too many cuts and creases and design elements that just don't work together that well.
A 1. I did give the 5 Series a 1. I just think it's everything that 5 Series and BMW design shouldn't be. To me, a 5 Series should be elegant and classy, and this is everything but that. It makes a pig-nosed mockery of what I think it should actually look like and what it has traditionally looked like. From the super steep slant of the hood that makes it look like it's front-wheel drive, which is very not premium feeling, to the blocky design pretty much everywhere, it just feels disjointed, and I miss old BMWs.
Also occupying our 4th spot is the Lexus TX. Its aesthetic crimes are more for boredom than true ugliness. It tied the 5 Series with a score of 2.2 out of 5. There's almost no cohesion between the front and the rear styling. The profile looks near identical to the cheaper and more pedestrian Grand Highlander, and the headlights are so squinty they do one of these, and there's too much grille going on. It just doesn't work. Is it the ugliest Lexus SUV ever? No, that goes to the last gen GX. But what a glow up, right? The TX just can't win our staff over. And it's not just for the looks. We put it up against the Hyundai Palisade recently, and it didn't win there either. The first gen X2 was a sloped roof, lifted hot hatch situation, and it was fine. It wasn't gorgeous and it wasn't ugly. But now, grille too big, headlights too angry, and the rear end looks like it's in a Jaguar I-Pace costume from Spirit Halloween Shop. All crammed into a body that's just too small for that much styling. The X2's average score on our survey was 1.8 out of 5. Ouch. If the new X2 is anything like the new X1, it'll be great to drive and a huge improvement over the old car, but styling? Yeah, we'll pass. You knew this was coming. Elon's Polygon. The Tesla Cybertruck is among the most controversial cars of the year, and if you ask the Edmunds staff, it's the ugliest new vehicle on the road. It scored an astonishingly bad 1.3 out of 5 for its looks. Out of the 24 people who took our poll, 19 gave it a 1. I'm in that camp. We know how plenty of you think it's cool, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with liking ugly things. I like the new 7 Series, which is objectively an ugly car. And yet, despite how much we can't stand its looks, we still bought one and we still plan on running it for more than a year. So you'll get plenty more Cybertruck content from us.
The thing about the Cybertruck is that it's not just ugly, the design makes it worse at truck stuff. Right, this is one of the big problems. Obstructs the bed, creates those issues with car washes. Like, there's things going on with this truck that are basic things that it could get right if it didn't have to look like a garbage can and a door stopper had a baby.
It's okay. It's okay. Calm down. We'll get through this. You don't have to buy a Cybertruck during your time of crisis.
Good design shouldn't scream for attention. The Cybertruck's design makes my eyes and my ears bleed at the same time.
Yes, it's ugly as sin, but it is successful. I mean, I think Tesla's goal with this car was to make something that no one's ever seen, something novel, this monolithic, brutalist, horrifying pickup truck that you can't look away from. And yeah, they did that, no question. You can't argue that.
And that's our list. Before you swear some kind of vendetta against Edmunds, remember we're not car designers, we're just people with opinions. When we review cars, we review them on how good they are at what they do, not how they look. This video was just for fun. You remember fun, right? Hit us with a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, or even if you didn't. Anyway, see you next time.